Hello, welcome back to my tea house. For today's cup of tea, we'll be doing the deck profile on the new yellow Lullaby Blizzard Esper Sisters One Punch Man deck. Now, first and foremost, I want to say that Esper Sisters, it is for the wannabe combo heavy, line seeking, the let me deal casually 6 to 5 damage in one turn, the board rebuilding, intermediate and advanced Union Arena players. Like I said in the green Saitama deck, the One Punch Man set is a playground. There's honestly infinite ways for you to build the deck, but getting into this deck profile, I do think that there are some key cards that you have to have in each deck, and some cards that people are sleeping on and disrespecting that I think we really need to clear up. Where this deck thrives is the ability to make infinite lines and infinite combos. It is a deck that matches my personality of one-ofs, because honestly, you only need one event of each card if you want, but again, there are some key event cards. The Esper Sisters being a vital card that I think every Esper Sister deck should play. I've been seeing a lot of discourse in the Reddit, a lot of discourse in the Discord communities about how people think the Esper Sisters card is trash. There's no point in playing it. And I just want to ask you, why wouldn't you want to play a card that can +1 you a body? Why wouldn't you want to run a card that you could potentially +2 a body if you play it for free off the Tornado? You search 7 cards deep for 1 Blizzard and 1 Tornado. The potential of searching for 2 of your key raid cards, and if not raid cards, for 2 key double energies, and if not double energy, for just 2 names, bro, to raid on. It just doesn't make sense to me. Esper Sisters to me is a 4 of or a 3 of, nothing more, nothing less. For those that don't believe in the card, please, let's start a discussion in the comment section so I can just yell at you to tell you how much you are wrong. This is the first time that I will ever say that someone is wrong, because again, this is a game, this is a fun game, everyone can build their decks how they want to, especially in this set, honestly. But for a deck that constantly wants to remove cards from its hand to grab something back, why wouldn't you want a card that +2? I'm gonna hurt myself thinking about it. On top of that, I'm seeing people run a 4 of I merely immobilize. It's a brick. You're gonna hear me rant about it during the breakdown, but it's a brick. Why are we running 4 of a card that could only be played once per turn? All you really need is 2. You just need to see the card once that you can loop it through your graveyard. Come on, guys. Now, with this deck, there are multiple ways that you can play it. You could play the more aggressive, super combo heavy style that Tyler plays, and honestly is a very strong play style. From the get-go, he has his foot on the gas, his foot on your neck, and you have to make sure you are playing at a fast pace and a high level to make sure you don't miss anything, because Tyler will hit you with a 1 punch, grab it back, 1 punch you again, play a final for free, then go into 3 raids, then grab back a final, play it again. And this deck, the way he plays it, it honestly feels like a Blizzard and a Tornado. The ability to be at 2 energy in your back line and rebuild your whole entire board using Esper Sisters is phenomenal. And that's one thing that I love about this set and some of the future sets that we're getting, because a lot of the times if you brick, right, or if you get destroyed by someone doing a triple final 1 turn and then playing a bunch of removal cards, you're normally not able to come back from that. But now we have the ability to rebuild our board just like that and still hit back extremely hard. And it's honestly a fun play style. I think it takes a lot of practice understanding what lines you want to do and mastering it. Now, there's that aggressive playstyle that you can do, or there's that more defensive playstyle that I like to play, that more reactive, gradually chipping your opponent down before you combo out a 5 damage turn or a potential 6 damage turn, or again a 4 damage turn, which is really easy. Just to like end game, you could really chip at your opponent, get them down to where you want them, and then boom, wipe their board, 1 punch, raid, swing out for 4 damage and guaranteeing to swing, guarantee that you end the game. And I've always been more of a mid range player, but the beauty of this deck is you don't have to choose one or the other. You can adapt your play style to whatever deck that is. Now, for those that want to understand what matchups they struggle with, I will say that this deck struggles really hard competing against Purple Code Geass, and it's mainly because the Gurren Pop a 3K can pop majority of your bodies that are on board, including Blizzard, which to me is your engine of the deck. It allows you to +2. It allows you to grab things back from the graveyard. You could argue that Tornado is the heartbeat because it allows you to play things for free. At the end of the day, I think whatever one you have more of, that game is the heartbeat. If you're playing against someone who's a really good player, they're going to focus on the variant that you have less of. So if you have more Blizzards, say goodbye to all your Tornadoes. If you have more Tornadoes, say goodbye to all your Blizzards, because this deck, honestly, it's a co-symbiotic relationship. They kind of want to work in tandem, but if I had to choose one over the other, I still think the Blizzard is the more important card, which is probably why they have the 2/1 Tornado that protects the Blizzard, because again, it +2 on the draw, and then it allows you to do all those combos. But that being said, the reason why I think the deck struggles a lot with Purple Code Geass is because we have a lot of answers to the deck. Again, like I said, pop a 3K. We play in a similar style where we chip, and then we just combo out, destroy everything, and then swing out for like 4 damage in one turn. And if you're playing the checkmate and force block, then potential 5 to 6 damage in one turn. And we have a lot of 4K bodies that just stick. And then on top of that, we can minus your board down to 2Ks, and you can't block the Gwains, or you can't block if I play the 3/1 Luch. The way I take this deck is again more of a defensive style. So if you want to play that more reactive play style, I implore you to really digest what it is that I'm about to share. So without further ado, let's get into the mix. Now, getting into it, we are going to talk about our first win condition, and that is the 4/1 Hellish Blizzard. Now, it's not necessarily a win condition in that the card itself can close out a game, but more so that it is arguably the most important card in the deck because it is the engine. It allows you to +2 cards when you play it. That way you can replenish your hand after doing all this discarding, etc., to loop things back. It also allows you the ability, like I just stated, to discard 2 cards to grab back any event card from your sideline, except a special trigger, which, you know, helps power creep the deck, and I'm grateful for it. But at the same time, I can still loop a 1 punch on your head top. I can still hit you with 2 free damage before I hit you with this 4. You know what I'm saying? And then it also gives you the ability to buff your board by 1K, which honestly I think a lot of people are sleeping on. The one downside about this deck is that you have a lot of 3K bodies, but that extra 1,000 helps you get over that 5K hump if you have the Tornado on the field, and it also allows you to boost some of your other 3K bodies to 4K to continue that pressure, continue that onslaught, continue that Blizzard, as one would say. But I'm getting old. Defensively, the defensive raid, yes, it doesn't help in terms of blocking, but a defensive raid is good in the sense that you can dig too deep into your deck and then be able to draw or extra draw the next turn and do whatever it is that you need to do, and it is on the field for free. Moving on now to our second win condition, arguably the most important card when it comes to closing out games, and equally as valuable and vital as the Blizzard, the 4/1 Terrible Tornado. This card has impact, and it allows you to play any event card for free, including your special trigger. The one downside is you can only use this once per turn, no matter how many tornadoes that you have on field, whereas the Blizzard, you can use that effect once per card. So if you have 2 Blizzards on field, both of those can ditch 2 to grab back a final, but the Terrible Tornado only allows you to play it once for free. Now, that being said, there are some amazing combos and lines that you can do with both the Tornado and both the Blizzard, and I'm excited to see what it is that people come up with, especially as we keep growing. You can defensively rate this as a 4K. It could help you block a 3K or anything less. But again, with the increase of 5K bodies, with the increase of 10K bodies, etc., the defensive raid isn't that crazy. But again, you're able to get the body on board for free. And both raids sit at a nice whopping 4 energy, which allows you to rebuild your board extremely fast and again, do some crazy stuff. Now, getting into the rest of the key cards that you're going to need for this deck, we are going to start off with the 0/1 Terrible Tornado. This is your standard, per usual, 0-drop. Add this card to hand, 1500 BP. It is self-explanatory. Let's move on to the next one. We have our 0/1 Terrible Tornado. Now, this card, I was back and forth between wanting to put in the 0-drop Bomber, specifically just to get that 1K boost to some of my 3K bodies, because once again, a lot of the cards in this deck are 3K bodies, and it's hard to get over that that 4K hump or 5K hump even. But once you start, learning the deck more and understanding what it is that you need to do, you realize that the early aggression that this Terrible Tornado allows you is amazing. Being able to play the 2K out, block a 15K that they decide to push forward, and swing for some early chip damage and then step it back to maintain your energy, can do wonders, especially since this deck can easily deal out 5 damage in 1 turn. So if you're able to be aggressive early on with these 0 drops, get 2 damage in, then step them back to continue to do what it is that you need to do, honestly, you're sitting very, very, very pretty. So I opted into playing this at a 3 of, the last 0 drop at a 4 of. I feel like if you want to sneak in another event card, you can go down to 2 here, because again, the deck plays around 4 energy, but I just like that early aggression. Our next card, and a card that I don't really see people playing, which is kind of strange to me, honestly, because I feel like this is a no-brainer. The 3/1 Saitama. This card is cracked. No matter what yellow deck you play, this should be in there. We're playing this at a 2 of. It is a 2 energy. It is a 3000 active trigger, and it is a 10K body that cannot be removed by your opponent's abilities. Bro, you play this in the back, you ditch a card, any event card, because you can get the event card back for free, to move it up to get a free damage in, and you swing with this last because your opponent can't remove it. So they're either taking a free block there or a free damage. And on top of that, it moves back to your energy line at the end of the turn. So if you want to be really greedy and you understand that your opponent doesn't have any answers and you're not, worried about the block, you can stretch your energy, push it up, knowing that it will safely return back. Now, some other cool things that you can do for this, right? You can ditch a card to move it up after your movement phase. So if you need the energy and then still want another attacker, that's something you can do. You can also pair it with the 5/2 Saitama by ditching this Saitama to give the other Saitama impact. Or what I like to do is you play the impact, right? You get a free damage, then you discard it, then you grab it back, you play it on the Saitama to give it impact, then you move the Saitama up by discarding a card. Now you have a free 10K impact that can't get removed by anything. And that's honestly what makes the other yellow deck so scary. But I think this card is nice at a 2 of here. We're gonna move forward. We have the 0 drop Hellish Blizzard, our 3rd and final 0 drop. Is self-explanatory. This is your draw 1, trash 1 for consistency. It's also a draw trigger, which is really nice. It replaces itself out of life, and it is a 1500 BP. Now, another card that is pretty saucy, and you guys know I don't like playing cards without triggers unless they're vital. Well, the 1 drop Hellish Blizzard allows you to look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 yellow card with 3 or less required energy, and add it to your hand. Then you get to place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. Now, if you find an event card which, you know, you can find any event card. You don't want to grab your special trigger with this, because once you grab an event card, it instantly goes to trash. What I like to use this Hellish Blizzard for early on is to find my 3/1 double energies. So I'm using this to find either my Saitamas or my Blizzard that lets me search for event cards. It allows you to get your double energy early on. That way you avoid bricking and that you continue moving forward towards the end goal. Moving on, we have the 3/1 Hellish Blizzard. During this turn, right, if Terrible Tornado is on your front line, it gains 1000 BP, which is great. You know, it goes from a 2k to a 3k, but it really sucks in the Gwen matchup because you can still easily get popped by a Gurren defense raid, which feels bad a lot of the times. But we finally have a color trigger that we really want to play, and I'm super excited that Bandai is starting to realize we're not playing those other color triggers. Stop giving it to us. So you have the color trigger here, and on top of that, when you play this card, you get to look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 event card, add it to your hand, and then sideline a card. Now this is the card that you want to play when you're searching for your special, when you're searching for your Esper Sisters, your final, etc., because unlike the 1-drop, they don't instantly go to the sideline, right? Other than that, it's self-explanatory. It's one of your double energies. Unless you're playing really aggressive, I normally tend to keep this in the back or right on top of it. But let's move on to the next card. One of our first event cards, the Esper Sisters. I have been seeing a scary amount of people say Esper Sisters is trash, or they don't want to run this at all, or they don't see the point of it. Why? All of you, ask yourself, why wouldn't you want to play a card that looks at the top 7 cards of your deck for a card that lets you draw 2 and grab a final back for free, or to look for a card that grabs a card that lets you play a final for free and has impact, and on top of that, you're +1ing? Why wouldn't you want a card that allows you to +1? Yes, there are times when you don't find both a Blizzard or a Tornado, but at the same time, if you've paid attention to what it is that's coming out of your life, what it is that you're drawing into, you should be able to control when you draw into your raid triggers. It just doesn't make sense to me. On top of it, this card has a draw trigger. So you're telling me I could play this Espers for free using the Tornado effect, +2? Right now it's a +2. Get 2 cards, then use my action point to raid into a Blizzard, draw another 2, then discard 2 to grab back a final, play it again, raid into a Tornado. Please, you guys are hurting me. You're actually hurting me. I just don't get it. And it's a 2-drop. You know how easy it is to rebuild your board with this card? Oh my god, my opponent just wiped my whole board. I'm just gonna push 3, leave my double energy in the back, play it, grab my raids, grab another double energy, right? Play the 1 baby that I have out of hand, go into the Tornado raid, play a final for free. Like, sometimes y'all disappoint me. Truthfully, sometimes y'all disappoint me. This is an amazing card. You must run it. I don't want to hear any exceptions. If you want to run it at a 3 of or a 4 of, be my guest, but no less. We have our special trigger. Now this special trigger is quite cool, quite unique, because it removes a character with 2000 or less BP on your opponent's front line. If you have Terrible Tornado on your field, you get to add 1000 BP to it for each event card that is in your deck. So technically, you could get up to some crazy numbers. You could get up to 8,000, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, as this game keeps progressing and we start seeing more of those cards that have crazy BP stats, this deck has the capability to deal with them as long as they're not like Saitama, right? And they have a you can't remove this from the game type of effect, right? But this is a really cool Psychic Power. It feels bad when you play against people like me who play green Saitama and then I just starve you, so you never see any of your event cards because they're all in life, and now you can't get rid of both my Silver Fang or my King because you can't get rid of a 5k. So it does suck when you don't see your event cards, but at the same time, with all the search potential that we have in our deck to grab event cards, you should be able to hit that sweet 4,000 5,000 mark easy. It only takes 3 event cards, but I digress. Moving on, we have our final. I'm running this at a 3 of. It's taken me a lot to go down, and the only reason why I go down is just because I know I can loop it, but in reality I really love it at a 4 of. So this just comes down to preference, honestly. If you go down to a 3 of, it allows you to squeak a 1 of into the deck, and that's the only reason why I went down, because I really wanted to add a 1 of Let's Go, because again, with this deck we're able to search for so many event cards, and we're able to replay so many event cards from the trash. So having an event card for each situation just feels amazing. Like, you're telling me I could just raid this and be like, oh, what do I need here? I need an impact to close out the game. Let me discard 2, grab the Let's Go, play it. You know what I'm saying? This is one of those rare moments where I think going down 1 final isn't egregious, but for those that don't agree with me, that want to stay at 4, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Now, for the ones that want to be risky going down to 2, no, because you want to see your final. That's the reason why I don't want to go down lower. You want to see your final more than once. You want to be able to play 1 from hand and also be able to grab 1 back from your life. Our next card is I Merely Immobilize Them. Now, if we want to talk about a card, an event card that shouldn't be ran at 4 of, I'm merely immobilized. Why are you guys running a 4 of a brick? Yes, the card reads amazingly. You can stun a card on your opponent's front line if you have both Blizzard and Terrible Tornado. Newsflash, if you play against good people and they notice that there's a discrepancy between one or the other, they're going to constantly remove the one that you're rarely seeing. If I see that you have 3 Blizzards and more Tornadoes, your Tornadoes are gone each time, right? The reason why I play this at a 2 of, and I've been debating going down to a 1 of, like Tyler, is just because, again, we could search for this. We quite literally can search for this. You're going to see it at least once, and you can discard, grab it, throw it into your trash can, and now you have it there if you ever need it, right? I don't understand why you want to run this at a 3 or 4, because you can only play this card once per turn, meaning I only need to see this once. I don't want to have more than 2 in my hand. If I have more than 2 in my hand, okay, cool. I have a free discard now when I do my searches. Imagine starting off the game with 4 of these. You can't play more. You can't play more than 1 per turn. So what, you're going to play this one, now you still have 3 in your hand? No, bro, you're going to discard them. So why not just run it at a 2 of? It is nice that it has an active trigger, which again, because we have a lot of 3Ks, we might opt into just taking the damage. So it feels nice there. If you want to go up to 4 finals and play this at a 1 of, I won't judge you. Tyler does it. Tyler's an amazing Esper Sisters player, has won a lot of events already with it. So I implore you to also check out his deck profile. But yeah, that's my 2-piece. Esper Sisters, amazing. I Merely Immobilize Them. It's great when I need it. I will say that this card is the answer to the 5-2 Saitamas if you're playing in the mirror match, or the answer to the big Saitamas if you're playing against green. So that's why I still run it at a 2 of, because against those annoying cards, I still want to see it. But at the same time, 3-4, that's a little excessive, guys, don't you think? On to the next card. We have the 4-1 Terrible Tornado. Now, I wanted to play this more, but once you play this deck, you kind of realize that it's really tight. I do use this card quite a lot. If I search and I can grab it. I tend to grab it because I do love the rest something, then raid on top of something combo. And on top of it, right, you could play this rest something, then I merely immobilize something, then raid onto it, right? Then play a removal for free, blah, 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 blah. You can do some crazy stuff where you wipe your whole entire opponent's board and then swing out for 4 damage, 5 if you play the one punch, 6 if you loop the one punch somehow, right? But it's a nice card. It's a 4/1. It's a draw trigger, and it's another 4,000 BP. Once again, if you guys didn't read the card, you can switch a resting card character on your front line with 5,000 or less BP to rest. If you do, you can switch one of your opponents to resting. That also includes this card. It's a nice little one of, it's a nice tech. If you can make it work at a 3/4 of, cool. But then when I hear that, I'm like, what are you sacrificing to play that? Especially when this deck revolves around your event cards. We have our one punch. I'm playing this at a 2 of because this is a card I do want to see. I want to see it for many reasons. One, to deal an extra damage when you're at 3 life, right? You can choose if your opponent has 3 or more life. 3 or more. I want you to understand, because some people don't understand that you can still play this card to deal a damage when your opponent's at 3 life. You know how cracked that is? On top of that, you can choose up to 1 Saitama on your field against impact. So once you bypass that stipulation, the card still comes into effect, because if you play your 5/2 Saitama, or once again, if you have your 3/1 in the backline, you could just push it up, grab that bitch from the sideline, play it on your card for free. Bada bing, bada boom, that's game. On top of that, it is a draw card. I wish this was a 3/1, but if it was a 3/1, it would be kind of cracked. So 4/1 makes sense. But yeah, I like this at a 2 of. I wouldn't be mad if you played this at a 1 of. But once again, you know, this is just a cool card that I like teching in and looping it a little bit sometimes. Moving on, we have the Blizzard Bunch. Now, I teeter back and forth with going down one of the that 0-drop Stepper Tornado that I told you of to play one more Blizzard Bunch, because this card is very vital. It's so important because we play so many event cards during the game. You basically almost always have all your cards in the front line at a 4K or 5K BP. So that hump that we were talking about early, that is hard for your characters to, you know, get past the 4K, 5K bodies, is automatically resolved once you have this. And honestly, once again, because you're searching through your deck so much with the 1-drop, you're bound to see this card. So even at a 1 of, I tend to grab it whenever I do see it, because I just think it's an important card. On top of it, if you get it out of your life, it comes to hand, which I think is a nice add to the deck. Moving forward, we have the 1 of 5/2 Saitama. For everybody that wants to play the winner, everything like that, this card honestly puts your opponents on a time clock. I will say, be careful on when you play this. Play this during the right matchups, because this card, right, it comes to the field active, so you can get that double damage right off the bat, or get that impact if you need to. But once this card has, you know, swung, it remains rested during your defense until the next turn. So it basically operates similar to King. It leaves a hole in your defense and can be very punishing at times. Again, this stems from skill matchup, learning how to pilot your deck. Some people play this too early, and I punish them. I punish them so bad, especially in that Gwaine matchup. I'm like, bro, I have 1 free damage each turn. Now all I have to do is just wipe your board. Like, aha. There's a lot of people that don't understand the fine print. This card has to attack first. If it is on your front line, it has to attack first. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, all right? It has to attack first. If you don't, your opponent can rule shark you and mess up your whole situation. Next, we have the Terrible Tornado. I opted into putting this in the deck at a 2 of simply because I wanted a 2-drop to help segue the early game, and it's a 3k body. So you're telling me I could play a 2-drop 3k in the front line as a blocker early on? That's amazing. It also has a draw trigger, so it replaces itself out of life. And on top of that, it protects you. It protects you from your opponent's character abilities and trigger abilities. So your opponent can still take an event card, an event card and target your blizzards with it. You can still get special with it, you know. But skill check: if your opponent knows, they know. If they don't, get better, right? It's the 1 of Let's Go that I decided to add, and I think again this is a good situational card. It's like checkmate to me. It's a 2/1. It's an active trigger, so it helps defensively, and it gives your Hellish Blizzard plus 2000 BP until the end of the turn, and if the chosen character is a Blizzard, it gains impact. So if you want to boost your Tornado or any of your lower bodies, you could play this. But if you want to secure the win, impact, and these type of cards I think are really good at 1 of, because it's like, if I see it, cool, this, you know, this affects my game plan. If I don't, I already have a line, a ballpark, what I want to do, and that covers everything. And there you have it. Once again, this is a very exciting and thrilling deck. If you are someone that loves playing combos, love looping things, searching for new ways to potentially break a game, I think this is a deck that you could really dive into, and I'm excited to see what it is that you guys come up with. I hope we do eventually end up doing best of 3 for Top Cut. It is unfortunate seeing the Worlds match and seeing the Madoka player brick, and you know, I think that's a shame, especially when you're at such a high level. But until then, thank you for stopping by the tea house. I hope you enjoyed your tea break, and I'll catch you on the next one.